All right. The time is 3:37 a.m. and it's Thursday, March 28th, and this is a continuation of the last part. I was just kind of like I was just doing a quick review. Okay, so I'm gonna continue the conversation. Okay, so the conversation of the last audio was I was talking about the revenge fuck and the hate fuck and how that connects to pretty much it applies to males and females. Males and females can use their partner, and I don't mean like their partner like they have to be special to them. I just mean like a partner, like if it's a team. You call it. Some people call it a wingman, right? But the way that they use it on TV is not the way that it's meant to be used, right? The way that the wingman concept is meant to be used is the way that I'm telling you right now, right? So your wingman has to be an opposite member of the sex. Right. So if you're a guy, you need a wingman as a girl. And if you're a girl, then you need a wingman as a guy. The only thing that sometimes what happens is that, you try to do that. And the only thing that happens is that, this happens to anybody. It happens to anybody because it's part of the way that, it's part of the code. It's part of the code, CODE. The code, you modders, you guys do code. But I do a different type, all right? And right, that's part of the code, right? CODE. So even though you guys are just each other's wingmen, then technically you're in a relationship because, like I said, the word relationship, the word relationship is a strong word, that overpowers a lot of concepts. And even though it's not that type of relationship, no matter what, it embraces the concept. So and the fact that it embraces the concept, then companies know this, and that's why they try to trick you into thinking that the company that you work is your family. They try to trick you. They try to, if you're somebody like me, that's the way they think, right? That's their opinion. That's not my opinion. That's the opinion that I'm sure that they portray, right? So if you're someone like me, that likes to be alone, they don't think that there's anybody that likes to be alone because maybe they don't like to be alone. So then they think that you're just, they think that you're just an outcast or whatever. So what they do is that they try to catch you. They try to control you by making you think that you found the family that you need, and for some people it works, for some people it actually works because it emulates, anybody, if you don't know what the word emulates, to emulate, emulators, anybody that does gaming, you guys know what emulators are. You guys know what emulators are, but I'm talking about different type of emulator, all right? It emulates, the word emulates is a strong word, The word emulates means to trigger a response based on, an effect. The only thing is the effect could be fake, and the effect could be a concept, all right? And, to emulate, like pretty much, when a guy and a girl are kicking it, and if they're hanging out just to hang out to go, find somebody, no matter what, they're emulating the relationship because in the process of that, you're emulating. This is the thing that happens to people at work. This is the concept I'm telling you that it's a complicated concept. When you're at work, everybody working together, it emulates teamwork. And in the process of that, sometimes people get stuck on that. So let's say you work in a place. Say you work in a place, and your teammate is a female. If you're a guy, your teammate is a partner, and if you're a girl, excuse me, and your teammate is a male, and each time that you guys see, this is something that I will explain to Berta. So either she understands it and she benefits it, but she didn't want to benefit it. She wanted to benefit it on her own, right? She didn't want to benefit it towards this, right? Or whatever, I don't know, but that's part of it, right? So either that or she forgot about it, all right? So then what happens is that if you guys are working, if you're a male and a male, if you're a female and a male working together, and you guys have the same, you guys technically have the same struggle, so you guys are gonna relate because it creates a bond. This is something that I was talking about earlier on. It creates bonds. Bonds. Certain words have a lot of power, and I'm telling you this. Certain words have a lot of power, and it overtakes over like your intuitions or your the way that you think if you don't know about it. And all right, the word relationship is a strong word, just like the word emulate. So what happens is that when people work together, if people work together and the situation occurs, those people are going through the same situation and they're going through the same stress and the same problem. So what happens is that once the stress is over and once the situation is done, they can relate. They can relate. So then they start creating important time in their life because they create a past. See, the situation that they were in is not a past, and they just finished it. They were both in that situation and they got out. But it's a fake situation because it's just work. That's a simulation, right? That's part of the simulation theory. All right, that's what we're gonna call it, simulation theory. All right, so then in the process of you working with somebody, you start creating these fake bonds that they could become real because that's the way the bonds work, and you start creating these fake bonds. So even if you have a girlfriend and even if you have a boyfriend, then because you're not going through those experiences with them, then you start feeling like you're more close to that person because that's what happens. And if you don't know how to overcome that, then you're gonna get sucked into it. And that's what happens to women and guys. All right, the guy that thinks that he's a player, he's not a player. He's just a sucker for he's a sucker for the pussy, and that's what happens. He's a sucker for the pussy, and he wants it like that. That just like the women, they're suckers for the dick, and that's what happens. It's not. I know it sounds dirty and explicit, but it's the reality. So then what happens is that when the situations happen, then no matter what, your brain and your body, it's gonna trigger certain effects. And on top of that, if you guys are attractive looking to each other, and it's gonna trigger the effect more. So then what happens is that people start becoming loyal to that. See, loyalty. See, people don't think it like this. See, but loyalty could be bought. See, you can buy loyalty. See, you can buy loyalty, but it's fake loyalty. But you could buy it and you could rent it, but it's not real. It's just fake. But if you're okay with it, then that's okay. A lot of people are okay with fake loyalty. But I don't know why. Because it's fake. And what happens is that loyalty is an important word because it is. Because companies benefit off of loyalty. And I'm telling you this for employers. If you have a female, and that female is going to be easily being controlled by her sexual appetite, then your company is going to end up failing eventually. And if you have a male, like I said, I'm being fair, it applies to both. If you're a female and your male has a sexual appetite like that, then your company is gonna eventually fall down. Eventually one of you two are gonna cause a mistake, and one of you two are gonna make the wrong mistake, and one of you two are gonna end up messing with the wrong person, and all that's gonna bring your world crashing down. And the thing is that since you guys are playing the game constantly, once that game starts crashing down, everything's gonna come into the light. Everything, not just that. Every other person that was fucking around with the group, the things that they were just playing that one person, they're gonna be upset because now they're all gonna feel like they were getting played. They all thought that they were playing that one person, but it turns out that they were all getting played. So now it's gonna create a chain reaction of issues to everybody, not just to the. If anything, it might not create an issue for that one person because maybe he didn't know, and if he did, then there's nothing he can do about it. And see, I'm not sidetracking of it. That's just part of the concept, right? And that's a simulation theory, and that simulation theory has to do with the revenge fuck and the hate fuck, and all that, and because of that concept, the same thing applies, you know, it triggers the reactions, you know. See, so when you're so when the situation happens, like the kind of like the female and the male, you know, and they interact like that, and it starts creating bonds. See, so like I said, the bonds are going on nonstop, you know, throughout the day, you know. As long as there's people interacting with each other, there's just creating bonds, you know. It could happen to guys too, you know. It could happen to guys, and it could happen to females with females, and it could happen to guys with guys, you know. That's why certain people turn gay, you know. That's why certain people turn gay, you know, or lesbian or whatever, because they don't separate that. They don't separate that, or they weren't ever taught how to recognize the difference between what is a reaction of a friendship and what's the reaction of a sexual friendship, you know, or a sexual connection. And that's part of the situation. Or maybe there is no difference, right? So maybe because there is no difference, then maybe then everybody is just animals, and even though they have, you know, they're sophisticated and whatever, then that maybe that's the situation. And see, maybe I haven't misunderstood, right? Or misunderstood. But that's the thing that it is, you know. The simulation theory. Simulation theory is the same thing, you know. It's the same reason why, you know, people go out to eat, because like I said, it simulates, you know, the mouth simulates the vagina, you know, because it's a hole, it's an opening. And, you know, the food for the female represents the, you know, the dick, and the vagina itself represents the vagina to herself. So, you know, the woman seeing the woman or the female watching the guy eat, you know, watching them stuff the hole, then it might simulate to her, it's like she's watching porn, right? And to him, the same thing, you know. That's why companies use that, you know. That's why companies use that, like Carl's Jr., how they use that female eating a burger, all like that, because they know that it creates that. And, you know, you watching that commercial, you know, you're like, damn, look at that girl, you know, I want to eat that. And so you go buy a burger because that's the closest way that you could eat that. And I'm not talking about the burger, but that's the closest thing that happens. And it happens to somebody, or some people will literally go to look for that, to eat that, you know. And that's what happens. And that's a simulation theory, right? That's simulation, right? Anytime that you could trigger an emotion without the proper, you know, stimulation, that's a simulation, right? See, and the basic way I can explain this to you is, if I pretend to throw something at you, you know, but I really don't throw nothing. See, because your brain is anticipating that movement means that something is going to be thrown at you, and you're going to react to it. And the process of you reacting to it, and that's creating the simulation theory. So now that you react to it, then, you know, you can understand what I mean. You know, you can understand that concept is out there, and it does apply. And now that you know this, then you're going to be like, fuck, you know. Then there's times that you got played, you know. There's times where you got played, you know. And sometimes what happens is that people that get played, they get mad, and they go and they do the same, you know. They go and they do the same that was done to them, and, you know, and they keep living that out. And that's the thing that I'm trying to tell you guys, that that's what happens to some people sometimes. Right? And another part of it has to do with competition. Has to do with, like, if you're working in a place, and you're female, and your female friend keeps telling you these stories that, you know, she does this and she does that, you know, chances are that she's just trying to look cool for you. And I'm talking between same-sex relationships, like friendships. So chances are that she's just trying to be cool with you. And the same thing happens to guys, you know. You're a guy, and, you know, this guy wants to be, you know, hardcore with you, and he starts telling you all these stories that may or may not be true. But then whether they're true or not doesn't matter. The thing is that sometimes what happens is that people are stupid, and they're like, oh, well, if this guy does that, then I want to do it too. That's what they think. So then they go and they do it, but they don't realize that the other guy doesn't do that he's just playing around. And So then what happens is sometimes people fuck up their lives because of that. Because it's true. I seen it being done to people, and I'm telling you, like, it happens. It happens. See? And that's what happens. And I think that another thing, see, all this has to do with work. See, as crazy as it sounds, this has to do with work, because the concept that I'm saying is that if your boss knows this, if your boss or a manager or if any male knows this, see, take me as an example. If you have ever worked with me, see, I could have used that on you. See, I could have tried to use that concept on you, but I didn't, because like I said, I'm not looking for that. So that's the thing that I'm trying to say. See, that concept, it's a real concept, and a lot of people get played by that, 24/7, nonstop, because anytime that there's people bonding, and I don't mean bonding like they're getting along, because sometimes people are, either they're unfortunate or they're not willing to go through the struggle of struggling to find, the struggle is the struggling, Some people think that, the struggle is you to struggle more. See, why would you want to struggle to end up at a job that you hate? Then that becomes, then it's an everyday struggle, right? Then it's an everyday struggle. So then that's just stupid, So then that's a false, that's a false success. So then the thing that I'm talking about is like sometimes people are not willing to struggle, They're not willing to struggle going from job to job, regrouping and meeting as many people as it takes to pretty much to get to where they need to be. And I don't mean to where they need to be because they need to be somewhere, but I mean in their personal belief or in their personal concept, in their personal self, where they need to be where they need to be, You working a crappy job that you hate, being unhappy, is probably not where you want to be. All right, but because society says that as long as you have a job and you're doing good, then it's okay even if you're miserable, and that's the reality that I'm not okay with. All right, that's a reality that I'm not okay with. Right, and that's the thing. That's the thing that's part of my issue. It's part of my struggles when I'm out there. Trying to socialize with people that I'm not choosing to socialize. People that are pretty much, they're being put there for me to socialize because I'm participating in the game of work. So to me, those are not real. Those are not real. To me, that's not real, because it could come out of simulation. And that's the thing that I'm trying to explain to you guys. Guys and girls. I say guys, but when I say guys, I mean both. I'm not like, that's the way that I talk. I talk to women, I talk to them like that too. I haven't been told that it bothers them, but I'll talk to women like that too. Like, I'll tell them, you guys, because I'm letting them know that I'm not. I know they're women, but I'm not I'm not approaching them like females. I'm approaching them like a friend, and that's the thing, That's kind of like me letting you know that I'm not approaching you like that, So I'll say to everywhere that I work, I call them guys, even though I know they're not guys. I say, you guys, or this, because see, like, I understand the way things. I understand that, right? Maybe people are gonna say that I don't, because if I understood the way that things work, then I wouldn't be broke or homeless or about to become homeless or with zero money or nothing. But it's just that like I was saying earlier, if you befriend somebody that I'm not gonna befriend, you're gonna lose my friendship because if you befriending that person that I wouldn't befriend, the reason why I'm gonna explain to you why the reason you're gonna lose that friendship, because if you befriend somebody that I wouldn't befriend, that person is using the simulation theory. They're using you as a way to socialize with me, because they know that I wouldn't normally. And this example that I'm saying, I'm not talking about it just to me. I'm talking about to you guys. This theory gets used on you guys too. It gets used on everybody. Everybody goes to this theory one way or another. And one way that I'm going to explain to you right now is what's the first thing that happens when you start going out with somebody, right? The mom and the dad says, oh, we want to meet them, and they meet up. And I understand why they do it. They do it for safety reasons too. But at the same time, you don't understand that you're being sucked into that simulation. That's the thing that I'm telling you. You're being sucked into that simulation, and people use it. People benefit from it. But if you're not aware from it, then I'm telling you that you're just being played. So that's the thing that I'm trying to explain. The simulation theory is real, and it works on people. It works on people if they don't understand it, or they don't see it, or it works on people if they let themselves, because in reality they want it to, and that's the way it happens. That's the concept, right? And that's part of the reason why, like, I struggle when I'm out there in companies. It's not because anytime that I got fired, well, I haven't like I've only gotten fired once. That was when I was working at Kmart a long time ago. Like, that's where I met Bertha. I met Bertha at Kmart. That's where we used to work. Like, that's where I met her. And so yeah, like, that's the only place that I got fired. See, and that's the only place that I got unemployment. And like, that sucks, because that was nothing. It was almost nothing. And from every other place that I haven't gotten fired, they forced me to quit. And the way that they forced me to quit is that they do the same thing. They start changing your hours, or they start giving you stupid requests. I'm gonna jump back to the conversation that I was talking about, which has to do with Whole Foods Market, DC Distribution Center. That's what I mean by DC Distribution Center, located in Vernon, California, down 49th and 48th. All right. See, that company, the people running that company, or at least at that time, one of the guys, I'm not gonna say their last names, but anybody that looks into it, you could find the information online. If you really look, you'll find it. All right. There's this is what happened. All right. I'm gonna tell you the situation the way it happened. Okay. So one day I was working there, and they had created these new. They had installed these new, rack system. I'm a forklift driver. I do it for fun, right? Because I think it's, I do it for fun. And so yeah, like, they had installed these new rack systems, and I was working the systems, and I was over there, restocking the systems and all that. And one of the bosses of the company, like, like the boss of the company, the one that's running the company, the distribution center, not the actual, the whole company, but I mean the distribution center. I was bending down. I bended down to pick up something. You see, this is how stupid it is, and this is how I can show you that it's personal. I bended down to pick up something, and I'm not gonna mention the comment, all right? But he said a comment to me that was inappropriate, because I don't know him like that. See, like I said, I'm a very like private person, and if I could try to avoid talking to people, I will try to. And even if we work together, I work with people. Like, I'm being serious. In the last job that I was working, I'll tell you, in the last job that I was working for, in True Fresh, I'm gonna say some names. So if by any chance you guys follow me, or you guys run into this, then then you might think it's funny. I didn't really talk to you like that, but we could have been cool. It's just, you might take it the wrong way, and you might think that that I like you because you girls are pretty. Because there's a lot of pretty girls right there. I'll be honest, like, I said, I'm not lying. After I separated from Bertha, like I was doing good. Just the issues that I say, like I was having a good time, man. Like I'm not lying. Like, I was making good money. I wasn't gonna buy a car because there's ways around that. So I was making good money, and see, I was about to start making bank this year, and starting in March, every paycheck that I was gonna get was gonna be pure profit, and that's for reals. The way that I had it calculated within, let's see. Okay, so within 3 months, like this is not bullshit, guys. Like I'm not playing around. Right? Within 3 months, I would have accumulated all the money that I would have needed to pay my rent for the whole year. For the whole year. Alright? Trip out on that. Right? So in 3 months. So that means if I would have gone 3 months with not spending any money, I would have been able to pay my apartment for the whole year. So that means that every other paycheck was gonna be just profit. See? So that means that 9 of my checks were gonna be just pure profit. And that's what happened. That the company seen that I wasn't gonna buy a car, and that wasn't gonna be pretty much. Companies hate not thinking that you need the job. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. Companies hate because it's like anything. Anybody that's anybody. Companies are supposed to be professional. People are supposed to be professional, but most of the time they're not. They take everything personal, and they're not supposed to, because me having an issue with the company, it's not me having an issue with the people individually. They're an extension of the company, but they take it personal. See, them trying to play me because they think I'm dumb, or because they think that they can't. Then if that creates an issue, then that's personal, and if that's an issue, then they need to keep it separate, and they need to just let it go sometimes, but they don't, and that's the thing. All right, so trip out on that. All right. So that means that in 3 months, see. So right now it's March. So that means that by now, if they would have let me keep working there, by today, I would have had my rent for the whole year. See, so that means that starting in April, every single paycheck that I was working for would have been just profit for me. I wasn't gonna need it to pay the rent. I wasn't gonna need it to I wasn't gonna need it to do my laundry. I wasn't gonna need it for transportation, because out of those 3 months, the last month, I was gonna have extra money out of that. So trip out on that. And that's me just being a forklift driver. Right? That's me just being a forklift driver. And and that was cool. I was having a good time. Like I said, I didn't get to see my son because I was working too many hours. Even though I didn't want to, but I was working too many hours. And but it was good. I was able to buy him some stuff. I bought him a Nintendo Switch, because I always think that Nintendo's cool. Like, Nintendo's cool, but they make games for kids more. So but yeah, like it was cool. Like, and I'm being serious. Like, I was having a good time, and like I said, if it wasn't because I know females take it the wrong way all the time, then I would have been having a great time. I would have been kicking it with everybody. But like I said, I don't know, But yeah, like I was saying, like I try to stay away from people. Like, even if I work with you, chances are that I work and you probably don't even see me there, and you're like, what? And this is what happened. So this is what I was originally starting. So that was gonna start, how they say, name dropping. So I don't mean to offend you guys, because this shouldn't be offended. if anything, the only thing that might bother you is that you might not want to be part of the story. But if it's actually the case, then I apologize for that. But like no, like like if anybody gets angry, I don't mean it like that. I'm not working there. I'm not gonna make contact with them. So if I accidentally mention your girlfriend, don't take it personal. I'm not. It's not like I'm gonna run into them again or anything like that. But like I said, there was a lot of hot females right there. There was this girl that worked in the office. And her name was Jennifer. She was nice. She was nice, but she was short, short in height. And earlier on I was talking about the evolution of the genetic pool. So even though she's pretty and whatever, I'm not gonna make a move on that just for that. And that's the thing, And besides that, she had told me that she had somebody, she had a boyfriend and she had a kid, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. I kind of it eliminates that because there's no need for that. There's a lot of people out there that don't have somebody that that can make a good partner. And it's like I already been through that drama with Bertha enough that kind of so yeah, I think that because of that, I already went through pretty much a lifetime of drama, relationship drama, and so yeah, so I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for that kind of stuff no more. So yeah, like I said, the girl was pretty, Jennifer, you hear this? I'm telling you that you're a pretty girl, and that's it. And I wanted to try to talk to you, but they didn't let me. And they didn't let me. And besides, I know you were interested in somebody else. I'm not gonna mention it, but I'm just saying, they didn't let me because every time that this is for real. I wasn't trying to hit up on her. I just, like I say, I don't get comfortable around just talking around whoever, because like I said, I'm not gonna befriend people just because they're friends with my friends that I have. Like I said, I don't have any friends right now. Okay, I'm just clearing that up. That's what I'm saying, right? So yeah, like I said, it was just funny because the entire time that I was working there, the entire time that I was working there, they never let me be in the office. Anytime, I'm being for reals, right? Anytime I was in the office and there was a female there alone, all the guys, or at least one or two of the guys would run into the office to kind of just to be there, to be like, oh, kind of what are you telling them? What are you saying? And or just to kill, if any chance of me, throwing down my game or whatever you guys want to call it, just to be there, just to block. And it's just funny because that seriously wasn't my intentions. And I'm just mentioning it because it's just funny stories, all right? And like I said, I have nothing to do right now. I'm almost done. I'm almost done moving out, right? And by moving out, I'm just throwing everything away because that's what I do. And when I move out, since I don't have I don't have friends and I don't have people that want to back me up, then that's what I do, because other than that, I gotta be asking people, and the stuff that I have, I really try not to go over. Pretty much, I really try not to go over anything that that situations like this that I would need somebody to pretty much to help me out with just at least this part, So yeah, pretty much all the stuff that I'm throwing away is just all the crap that Bertha left that she didn't want to come back for because whatever, and that's it. That's all I've been doing, ever since I got, I quit my job because they started making a hostile environment. I didn't go back because I feel like they would have done something illegal if I would have gone back. That's the truth, all right? But I'm gonna tell you this to prove it to you because all these was not a coincidence, right? Right. But before I talk about that, I'm gonna talk about the females quick. Just I'm gonna give you the females a shout out just because I want to. Because like I said, I have nothing going on right now, so I have no entertainment. The only type of entertainment that I have right now is I've been hearing my phone. I've been hearing music. Because like I said, the phone that I had for the uploads and stuff, it got brick. So then I just threw it away because, you know, I don't need it no more. And all the other phones that I have that still work, the chip doesn't want, they're not, like, I guess they're not unlocked, or they have the chip locked. So I can't use it. So I just threw it away too because I don't need it no more. And yeah, eventually I'm gonna try to get another one. But for right now, I'm just using one of my old phones and just hearing music off of it that I have. And when I get bored of it, I just go on the radio or doing these recordings. Doing these recordings has helped me like pass the time. Like, to be honest with you, you know, doing these recordings has helped me pass the time, and you know, hopefully they benefit me in other ways later on. But yeah, like, yeah. Before I get into the conversation that I was heading to, I'm using it as kind of as a shout out to tell, just to say, kind of like to say hi to you guys, because you know, I just left. You know, I didn't like, because that's the way that I do things. There's no need for a sad story sometimes, and like I said, I don't keep friends, so there's really no need for me to tell you, oh, you know, I'm not gonna be working there no more, because, you know. So yeah, you know, Jennifer in the office, she was hot, right? I mean, she was hot, but she was interested in somebody else. But I wasn't gonna make anything about it. But like I said, you know, she was hot, and Jennifer, if I didn't talk to you, it's because you know that they didn't let me, because they always wanted to be there, to be there to make sure that I wasn't making a move on you. And it's okay, because I wasn't, because I know who you liked, and I have respect for him. Like, I have respect for that guy. So, you know, I wasn't gonna like. See, that's the thing. You know, a lot of people don't understand the meaning of respect. See, so yeah, like, I had a lot of respect for that guy, you know, and I'm not gonna specify who, because I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. I'm just giving a shout out to people that, if things would be different, you know, I would consider you guys my friends. And if, you know, if it could be different, then we could probably be friends. But because of the way things are between people, and I mean between people, like, overall, then things are different. But yeah, like, I'm just saying, I thought you were hot, and Bernice too. Bernice in the in the e-commerce, I thought you were hot too. Like I thought you were really hot. Like, to be honest with you, the only reason, like, I don't know your story, and that's why I really wouldn't approach you, because, like, I'm not looking for that. I don't want you to mistake it. But yeah, I'm letting you know that I thought you were really hot, and this is just my way of saying hi to you. You know, if you come across this, you know, Michelle in the upstairs, you know, I thought you were really hot too. And like I said, you know, at first I was gonna try to talk to you, but, you know, you seen that they didn't let me. You seen that every time that I was there, you know, somebody would try to kind of like block, and I wasn't gonna go out of my way to talk to you, even though I think you girls were pretty. I'm not gonna go out of my way to talk to you girls. And see, I'll go out of my way not to talk to you girls, but I won't go out of my way to talk to you girls. Okay, see. Oh, there's this other girl. Yeah. There's this other girl named Ivana there. I will kind of talk to her a little bit. But, like I said, a lot of the girls that were working there, they were good looking. And, you know, I didn't want to, like, lose my job because of that. Because, like I said, I play by the rules, and even though I know that there's opportunities for some stuff sometimes, it's like like I said, I was playing by the rules. I was doing good, and I wanted to keep the job, so I'm not gonna risk it for a female, and that's the truth. And I'm sorry, and a lot of guys listening to this, Taylor, maybe you're just queer or whatever, but that's just your opinion. And any female thinking that too, then that's just your opinion, and that's cool. But like I said, so yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, the girl that I was talking to, I don't know if I ever mentioned her name. Ivana. She was hot too. She would kind of talk to me too, but she was just being friendly. So I really try not to. I really try not to confuse people talking to me because they have to because of work, and people talking to me just because they're just talking to me because that's the way it is sometimes, and people don't get that sometimes, right? There's this other. She was an older lady. Was damn, I can't remember her name, but she was an older lady that was working there. Like, I'm not saying like old, but like older. She was older than me, but like she was cool. Like I'm letting you know you were cool. Oh, Christina, like you were cool, and I know you kind of like try to talk to me like friends, and I'm just letting you know that we could have been good friends, but like I said, because of the way that I tell you, the way that I say stuff, that's the only reason why we didn't kick it. But I'm telling you, I thought you were really cool. I thought you were a really cool lady, and if you ever had a conversation with like Glenn, he would have told you that I told him that you were cool because I did. Like I thought you were really cool. Like I thought you were really cool, and the only reason why I didn't talk with you as much is because I thought we could have had a lot of fun together, but just being friends and everybody else is gonna take it the wrong way. So that's why I would stay away from that. But I know you did try to like talk to me cool. Like I'm not saying anything like inappropriate, all right? Because I know that you're a respectful woman because I met you. We met and we talked, and all I'm saying is that I thought you were really cool. Like I thought you were a really cool lady. Like okay, and so yeah, this is me just saying, giving a shout out, and like I thought you were a good looking lady too. You're not my type of person that I would date, but like I'm saying it, like you're an attractive woman, and I'm just stating it. This is my way of saying hi to you, and like I said, for anybody that knows me that was working there, if I'm accidentally saying hi to your girlfriend or your lady, don't take it the wrong way. Everything was proper. Everything was professional, and this is just my way of saying hi to them because other than that, like I said, I wasn't gonna go out of my way. And oh, there was this other girl, but I didn't catch her name. Like I didn't get her name, and nobody would mention her name as much. So, but she was cool too. Like I mean, she wasn't cool. I mean, she was hot. Like she was hot, but yeah, but she had somebody too. Like she had just had a kid too, and like I said, like it's like I said, me working in that place, except for the ending with all the drama between the one of the leads. That was a good time. I mean, like it was a good time. I know a lot of them thought that I was just weird because I keep to myself. Like I'm being serious. A lot of them thought that I was weird, and I'm gonna talk about it because it's weird. All right, okay. So, like I said, part of the situations that happened there. Okay. See, one of the main situations that happened there, I took a job that wasn't meant to be like. It wasn't meant to be fulfilled permanently. It was just meant to be. It was meant to be fulfilled temporarily. All right, and it was just for the third party insurance claim. And the thing is that, see, there's this incident between me and some guy, you know, and I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna mention your name, and you know, I don't mean anything negative to you, and right, you know, you were cool with me. See, you were cool with me, right? You were cool with me, and somehow I think that you helped me get that job, right? And I don't know if that's the situation, but somehow I think that you helped me get that job, and somehow I don't believe that you got laid off, right? Okay. I believe that they used you to try to get rid of me, right? But you were just doing your job because you want to keep your job or whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about it, right? So there's this incident that happened, you know, at work. You know, anybody that works there, you guys know it. You guys know the incident, and you know, one of the guys that was there was okay. The incident was between me and this other guy. You know, the other guy his name was Maurice. You know, Maurice, and you know, I honestly think it was a setup. See, I think it's part of the third party thing that I'm telling you, and I think this was supposed to be the one thing that was supposed to get me to pretty much to walk away from that job. All right, and I'm gonna tell you what it is. Right, so they came and they dropped off a motor. Right, and they dropped off the motor, but they didn't drop it off by the docks. All right, because the company has docks. They dropped it off out on the street, like on the parking lot. So this guy that works there, see, his name's Marcus, right? He's in maintenance, right? He's some gangster guy, and I can tell you, I'm not. This is not negative talk to anybody. This is just me talking, all right? Because I was cool with him, or at least I tried to be cool with him. I don't know if I got the feeling that he probably didn't like me, but I don't know. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding of that. But right, the issue that happened is that he had me go unload the motor on the forklift, and I unloaded the motor. Right, so then I unloaded the motor, and you know, I started taking it to the dock with the forklift. You know, I was using a sit down, right? And this is the reason why I think it was a setup, because I kept trying to use the stand up, because that's the one I like using. I like using the stand up, right? The stand up forklift. Anybody that knows anything about this, then you guys know what I'm talking about, right? I like using the stand up because, you know, I'm working, and you know, the sit down forklift, you gotta be sitting down all day, you know, and you know, I do that in my personal life, you know, when I don't got nothing to do, you know, I sit down and kick it. So when I'm at work, I don't want to be sitting down, you know, I want to be moving around and doing stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I struggle, because I don't want to take an office job for that reason. Because, you know, I took an office job back a while ago, and it sucks. Like, it's easy, but it sucks. Right? So let me jump back to what I was talking about before I go back. But let me take a quick break. Right? I'll come back. I'm gonna pause the recorder, and right now I'll come back. All right, the time is 4:28 a.m. It's still a continuation of the same recording. I just paused it, and I came back right now. Okay, it's still Thursday, March 28th. The time is 4:28. This is a continuation of the conversation. Same recording, right? So yeah, like I was talking about, I was kind of giving shout outs to people at work, just because, you know, just because, you know, it was a good time. It was a good time, except for, you know, the end the way, kind of like, it just sucks, you know, because it sucks, and I'm gonna explain why it sucks. Because, you know, I was a good worker, and you're supposed to reward your good workers, right? But I guess you guys don't know how to run the company, or you guys are just being cheap, or I don't know, right? And I'm gonna show you I'm gonna prove to you that you guys could have benefited off of me, but you guys chose to make it personal for something else, and I don't know why. I don't know why people can't just, I don't know, right? Okay, so the thing that happened there is that I got fired. Well, I didn't get fired. Okay, they kind of like made it so that I wouldn't go back right there. All right, and I'm gonna show you this conversation. The conversation was part of me showing you why. Okay, so then I'm taking down the engine. You know, the motor. It's a motor. If it's electrical, it's a motor. If it's gas, it's an engine. Even though technically an engine is still a motor. All right, but that's the way they classify it in automotive. You know, an engine is gas powered, a motor is electrical, and you know, anybody that knows this, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so I was taking down the motor. You know, I already had it on the dock, right? You know, I already had the pallet on the dock with the motor on top of it. It's a big motor, you know. I'm gonna describe the size of the motor. The size of the motor I'm gonna say is probably like the size of an old school muscle car, right? Like an old school muscle car, you know, with the engine and the transmission, you know, connected, right? So that's just to give you an idea of the motor, right? So it was a decent sized motor. Right. For anybody that doesn't know what an engine and a transmission put together is, you could check what I mean by opening your hood and look where your engine starts, and then go into your car. And if you have a car, wherever the gear shift, whether it's automatic or standard, if your car has the gear shift in between the seats, that's the transmission. Right, so wherever that sensor ends, it usually ends behind the seats. That's the end of the transmission. That's as far as the transmission goes in the car. And that's how you can see the distance between the length of the motor to get an idea. Right, this applies only for cars that have the transmission in the center. It usually is in American cars, because most imports have it sideways. They have the transmission. They have the transmission facing the wheel, right? And you know, some people might not understand this, and some people might think that I have it wrong. And if I do, then correct it. But I doubt it, right? Okay, so I managed to get the engine. You know, the engine was already on the dock. You know, I had already set down the pallet, and I was already backing out with the forklift. You know, I was already backing out. The only thing that right there in the dock, there's an incline. You know, right where the dock meets the outside. There's an incline because it's a drainage for the water when it rains. So anytime that stuff needs to get loaded up like that makes it really complicated. All right. Because the thing that you need to understand is that the incline, it changes the distance of the forks. Because if you have the forks set up at a certain degree, you know, I'm gonna say 0. All right, you have the forks set at 0 degrees, which is just straight line. So as I'm backing up, the incline starts going, it starts going negative. So it starts going negative 1 degree, negative 2 degrees, negative 3 degrees, negative 4 degrees, negative 5 degrees, negative 6 degrees. It's an incline like at 45 degrees, all right? Just to give you an idea. So as I'm backing out, I gotta make up for that. I gotta make up for the incline. So I gotta start tilting the forks down, all right? And backing up at the same time. Right? So I'm doing that. In the process of me doing that, once you hit the the climax of the incline, then the forks are gonna pop back up, because imagine it like a seesaw, like those things in the in the park, where kids jump opposite each other, and so as soon as they reach the end of the incline, what happens is the forks, even though I tilted them up, they hit zero again because of the peak of the incline. It lifts the forks back up, and if I don't make the adjustment fast enough, then it starts making contact with the pallet again. So then what happens is that if you make enough contact with the pallet, you could drag the pallet, and since the motor is heavy, then it creates weight. So even though you just have it on the edge of the forks, it starts dragging the pallet. So then what happens is that the other guy, see, this is what happened, and this is, I'm gonna use the word murky. Anybody that doesn't know what the word murky, it means clouded. Murky means like clouded. Think of like agua de horchata. Agua de horchata, if you guys don't know what that is, it's rice water, right? Agua de horchata. Right? So think of it like that. That's the concept. Murky. Murky is when something is clouded. Okay. So the murky situation is like pretty much like if the lights go out and then something breaks, and there's a lot of people there, but you guys can't prove who broke it because the lights went off at the right time, and as soon as the lights went off and something broke, there was nobody around whatever broke. So then that creates a murky situation, because then how do you solve that, right? So then that's what happens, right? So on my side, that's what's going on in this concept that I'm talking about, and this is a true story, right? So I'm backing out of the pallet, and then I'm still not out, I'm not still in the clear of the pallet. So in the process of that, the other guy, he starts backing in with the pallet jack, pallet jack rider. Anybody that works in a warehouse, you guys know what I'm talking about, And I'm not talking about the hand pallet jacks that you drag or the electrical hand pallet jacks that you drag. I'm talking about pallet jack riders, the ones that you ride, right? And the guy starts, he starts backing in with the pallet jack rider, and in my opinion, what happened is that he knocked it off. That he knocked the. I had lifted the pallet. Okay. But I seen it, and as soon as I was about to drop it back up, the guy started going into the pallet at the same time. So what happened is that because I had it lifted and he started going into the pallet, what he ended up doing is that as I started dragging it a little bit, he completed the movement, and he pushed it off of the dock. All right. So in the process that he pushed it off of the dock, I tried to catch it fast with the forklift, because I know how to use a forklift. That's all I gotta say. All right. And I managed to catch the motor. The only thing that happened is that because the way it happened, because of the pallet jack, it pushed the pallet out too. So what happened is that I managed to catch the motor, but in the process of that, because the pallet was still in between the motor and the fork, then the motor went down with the pallet, and that's the situation that occurred right there. See, and the situation that occurred right there, I completed the liability. I completed the liability concept that they wanted. See, but that was fake. It was a fake one, right? So okay, I did the report and everything. Okay, I did the report and everything. Like I said, it's for liability reasons, and that's why they do it, right? The other guy supposedly he got fired, right? Because to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure it was his fault. Like I'm pretty sure I could have like pushed it back in, and like I said, I'm not trying to talk negative, but like I said, it creates a murky situation. So that's just my opinion, and so yeah, so then that guy got fired. Supposedly he was agency and he got fired, and based on what I hear, they were trying to get rid of him for a while already. So this is the way that I'm trying to prove. Okay, this is the thing that I'm telling you. right? So then what happened is that what they were thinking that I was gonna get, because of the way that I behaved. They were thinking that I was just like, some dumb nice guy, and that I was just gonna like quit and leave, and I've been in situations like that before, and that's why they have insurance. And whenever anybody drops anything, the insurance is supposed to cover it for them. And like I said, that's the benefit. That's what they count on, and that's the thing. See, they didn't know that I knew that, and so I didn't quit. Because to be honest, it wasn't my fault, and I didn't quit. And they didn't tell me nothing because they knew it wasn't my fault. So they were hoping that I would just kind of like feel bad, like thinking that it was my fault and just quit, but I didn't. Okay. So then I went back to work the next day, and so then a couple of days passed by. See, you guys are thinking I'm making this up, but I'm not. If anybody like looks into the information, they gotta report that stuff. See, one way or another, companies have to report it. They have to, no matter what. See, if they neglect to report stuff like that, it can cause a big issue for them in the long run. Because if anything ever occurs, then they could always pinpoint it to that moment, right? And so like I didn't quit, and now then another situation that occurred like after that is that, like I said, I don't like doing overtime because money only has a big purpose. Any other than that, anybody that uses money for perverted reasons or dirty reasons, that's on them. That's okay. If that's what they want to do, that's their call. And like I said, everybody has the right to. Everybody, from what is understood, everybody has the right to live the way they want to, right? But they don't, because they don't make it like that, right? Or at least not to me. So I don't know if maybe I'm the only one that's being singled out on this, right? Okay, so then what happens is that, okay, so then the situation happened, and then like, see, I only worked in maybe 3 months, three or 4 months, okay. Pretty much, they hired me directly. I was hired, I was hired like on the spot. They hired me. Once I got hired like instant hire. That's what I'm trying to say. I got hired instant hire because originally I got hired for inventory. Okay, I do inventory. I do inventory because I got into it. I got into it when I was working at Whole Foods. I met some cool people there, and a shout out for somebody from there is for Caesar. Caesar at Whole Foods. I don't know if you still work there, but you were a cool guy. I know that at the end, we kind of like, our relationship as friends kind of like, it didn't end bad, but we kind of like distanced ourselves from each other, and it wasn't for any reasons. Just I think certain stuff got misunderstood. That's what happens a lot with people with me. I think they misunderstand the situations, and but yeah, like, that's a shout out for Caesar at Whole Foods. I don't know if you still work there, but you're a super cool guy, man. Like, I mean it. We had a lot of cool times. Like really cool times, and I'm just saying that, like, if our paths cross somehow different in another way, then I wasn't aware of that. But I mean, like, it was a cool time. And see, that guy was cool. There was this other guy, he was cool with me there too, in Whole Foods. Jesus, you're a cool guy too. I know you're an older guy, and you were telling me that you were from the, like, I don't want to say it because I don't want to call you out. That's not the way it is, but you were a cool guy, dude, and that's kind of like just giving a shout out. And other than that, really, like, from that place, I really didn't like like I socialize with people, but you know, usually it's not people around like my age, because I don't know, I guess they have a hard time relating with me, or but yeah, like that was a cool time there too, you know. So yeah, going back to the True Fresh HPP, you know. So yeah, after that incident with the motor happened, you know, I went back and I kept working, and like I said, I don't like to, I don't know, maybe I'm not money hungry, or I don't know, but I really just like to I really just like being alone. You know, I know it's hard to believe, but you know, I go to work and I just, you know, fulfill my hours, and then as soon as I'm done, I want to get out. Like even after, you know, after I was separated from, you know, Bertha and everything, like I just wanted to be, you know, back in my own location and doing my own thing. And at that time, I was doing Warhawk, and I was still playing Warhawk. So yeah, like see, during that time, that's the time that I started the Magic Koopa account. So anybody that follows YouTube, I really didn't do anything with it, like upload, because I didn't have time for it, but I tried to still keep it going. For anybody that follows the channel, the only reason why I managed to participate in the end of the game was because, like I said, you know, I left my job because they're being stupid, or they're being dicks. I don't know what they would prefer. Do they prefer to be dicks or assholes? I don't know. But yeah, so I left my job because other than that, you know, I guess I'm talking about it right now. You know, after that incident happened with the motor, maybe like a week or two later, you know, I keep saying this, that I don't like staying overtime. You know, I don't like, you know, after a certain amount of hours that you accumulate, you know, I don't know if people know this, but after a certain amount of hours that you accumulate, you know, anybody that knows tax brackets, you know, after a certain amount of hours that you accumulate, it doesn't benefit you no more to work. See? So if you're not careful and you accumulate too many hours, the only way to balance it back out is for you to miss days, you know, for you not to show up to work. And, you know, then that makes it complicated, because then that creates issues with your employer, right? So the only way to avoid, you know, anybody that understands brackets, you know, tax brackets, you know, I'm going to give a quick explanation. Maybe you guys are going to think it's wrong. And if it is wrong, you know, correct it and explain to me why I'm wrong, right? See, but the way that tax brackets work, you know, I'm not going to explain how they work, but I'm going to explain what people don't understand about them. See, each amount of money that you make, you know, there's a tax bracket for it, right? If you're on the bottom, you know, the basic tax bracket, and you go over by $1, like I'm gonna put it as simple as that. If you go over by $1 on the tax bracket, that $1 might cost you more than $100. That's all I'm trying to say to you. See if you can understand what I mean, right? So that's the thing, you know, if you work too much overtime, and if you're getting paid good and you work too much overtime, see, eventually that doesn't benefit you no more, because the only thing that you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be tiring yourself out, and at the end of the year, you're just gonna get less money on your tax return, right? And that's the thing that, you know, a lot of people don't see, and they don't see it because, you know, since they're making money, and, you know, whatever. That's the thing. See, the reason why I don't like working overtime is because overtime is unstable. And what happens to a lot of people about overtime is that you start working a lot of overtime. So then what happens is that they say, you know, the year starts, you know, and, you know, you work overtime, right? So let's say, you know, you work overtime, you know, let's say you work overtime 4 months, all right, or 5 months. And you're constantly working overtime. So what's going to happen is that you're going to get used to seeing your check at that. See? So you're going to get used to seeing your check, so you're going to start spending more money than what you can make on your regular time. So then what happens to a lot of people is that they go and they start buying their cars and they start buying this, right? And that's why I didn't want to buy a car, because I already know that. And they know this. So the only thing that they wanted to do, this is what they wanted to do, and I'm going to show you so that this doesn't happen to you, right? So what they wanted to do is they wanted to get me to buy in a car, because like I said, this has to do with the bait and switch. So once they hire you, once they entice you, because you have a good resume, then they hire you. So then once you fulfill the liability request that they need, you not knowing, then they use it as an excuse. They use it as an excuse. But this is the way that they do it. See, when I dropped that motor, because that's the way that they want it to be. But like I already explained the situation, right? See, when that incident with the motor happened, they were thinking that I was gonna quit, right? And this is what they were expecting, right? They were thinking that I was gonna quit. So I was gonna quit. They were gonna let me quit for like a week, and a week after that, they were gonna call me back, but they were gonna call me back through the agency. That's where I'm getting at, right? That's the bait and switch that they do right there, and they do it in other companies too, right? So they were gonna call me back through the agency, because that's what that company does. They do it to everybody, They do it to everybody, and everybody that is not aware, they fall for it, because, if you quit because you think you did something wrong, and then your company calls you back to tell you, hey, you know what, even though you did that, we want you to come back, but we're going to bring you back through the agency. Then you might think, oh, cool, they're being so nice because they're giving me a second chance, but in reality, they're just, they're ripping you off, taking advantage of you. And that's what happens. And that's what they were trying to do. See, they were trying to get me to go into the agency just so they could pay me less, because once they seen that I could do the work, because I've done it before. That company is a small company compared to the places that I worked. And they were trying to put a lot of pressure on me that if they would have gone to work where I was working at before, they would have understood why I was getting by, like whatever. All right, and that's what happened there. Pretty much once they seen that they were looking for any excuse to try to like provoke in a situation where pretty much they were looking for a situation where they could cause me to quit so they could call me back to the agency, right? So, after that original incident happened with the engine, the motor, then, like I keep saying, I don't like working overtime. So they keep trying to force me to work overtime, all right? They keep trying to force me to work overtime because they tried to tire me out. They were trying to tire me out, If they manage to tire you out, if you work overtime too much, to the point where you get tired, then eventually you're gonna start missing your regular hours. And when you start missing your regular hours, then they could tell you something. See? So that overtime that you're working is not worth it if it's gonna start affecting your regular hours, because the overtime doesn't count. It counts for your paycheck, but it doesn't count over for what you're being hired. All right? So then what happens is that, that's part of it. See? So then what they started doing is that they were trying to make me work like 16-hour shifts. 16-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts. I was taking the bus at that time, and see, at the bus I was just taking the bus. At that time I was just taking the bus. The company. I live in Pico Rivera. Right now towards at least to the end of the month, I live in Pico Rivera. The company is in Buena Park. On the bus, it took me like I'm not lying to you. It took me like at least 2 hours and a half to get to work every day. So I was working first shift. My shift started at 6. So that means that I needed to wake up at 3. I needed to wake up at 3. I needed to wake up at 3 just to get ready to go to work. And after work, it took me a little bit longer because in the afternoon, there's more traffic. So sometimes when they were making me work overtime, I was working from 6 to like like from 6 to 6, right? So then on top of that, it would take me like 2.5 hours to get to my to my spot. So that's from 6. So I will get here to like 9, and then since I still needed to go to the store because I need to buy some food to eat. So then I will get here to like almost 10. So it's 10 at night, and I'm already gonna start eating because, like I said, I don't eat at work. See, I don't eat at work, so I go through the entire day. Okay, so just think of it. I went through the entire day. Every day that I was working there, I will go through the entire day not eating because I don't like to eat in public. All right, for all the reasons I explained earlier. All right, and there's females working there, so I'm not gonna eat in front of them. All right, and I'm not gonna eat in public like that. See, now that the situation is different because I'm gonna become homeless, and that might be different, but that's not because I have a choice no more. See, that's the difference, Now it's not because I have a choice. Now it's because I have no choice, and that sucks, But yeah, that sucks because all that could have been avoided. People just let me be. I was doing my work. Doing everything. I'm doing everything. Like I said, I like playing by the rules. So I don't know. I guess because people don't play by the rules, it trips them out when they see it and they think it's something weird. And so I don't know. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain. I was going from 6 to like 10 at night without eating anything. If anything, I would just drink like soda or something like that. And or sometimes I would just like a granola bar or something like that. But that was it. And so then after that, like after a certain amount of time, it starts, after a certain amount of time, it's gonna start affecting your regular shift because, do the math. I'm coming home at 10. I'm going to work at 6. I'm coming home at 10. I'm coming home at 10. I get home at 10. I still need to eat, so calculate at least half an hour. Then I still need to take a shower. To calculate another half an hour at least. So that's already 11, right? So by 11, usually I will already, by 11 I was already back, playing Warhawk. It sucks, but I was only able to play like maybe like a round or two, during that time. And I had to, because other than that, I would have just been working nonstop, and that hour that I was playing Warhawk was the only fun that I was having that was not connected to work. That was my time, and so yeah, like that's why I didn't get to do much for that Magical stuff because I just didn't have the time. I accumulated a lot of videos. Like I accumulated the videos. I started recording and collecting the videos, and a lot of them I lost them. Like I'm not lying to you guys. Like anybody that follows Warhawk, I lost over like 1,000 recordings that I had done because the situation. Like I had the money to buy equipment at that time, but I didn't have the time. So that's weird, I had the money to buy the equipment to do certain stuff, and I just didn't have the time because by the time that I was out from work, all the stores were closed, so I couldn't get the equipment that I needed to upload fast enough, and so yeah, so I lost over like 1,000 or 2,000 video recordings. Like it's not a line, like I'm being for reals. And even some of the stuff that I uploaded at the end, anybody that follows the channel, that's just like maybe like 5% of whatever I had recorded. That was the best thing I could get out from all the recordings that I had, because other than that, so yeah, like towards the end of the last month, after I stopped going to work because, on one of the times that I was working overtime, like I mentioned this, I kept trying to use the stand-up forklift, and they didn't want to let me. Everybody there, like this is for real. This is not just in my mind or thinking it. Like this is for real. So anybody that checks the cameras, like if you guys check the cameras, you guys could see that they tried to constantly put me on the sit downs, right? They kept trying to put me on the sit down. They wanted me to use the sit downs, and the reason why I didn't want to use the sit downs is because the sit downs are not maintained. They don't maintain them right. They glitch out. The gears and all the hydraulics are not tuned up to the right specifications. So I know that makes it dangerous. So I would try to avoid to use those. See, but I'm not there to tell them how to run their company. So that's none of my business. I'm there to do I'm there to do my stuff. They have people for that, and I don't like certain stuff like that. I'm not gonna get into it because then that's the way they trick you into taking the responsibility, right? That's the thing. That's the trick that they do. All right. So anybody that's not aware, that's the trick that they do. So if you're the type of person that likes things if you're the type of person that likes things being done right, then that's gonna make it really stressful for you. And I'm telling you by my own experience, right? So I'm working there and I see them doing all these violations. Because they do all these violations, all right? I'm not going to specify to what, but they do all these violations, and they do it because they want me to take the responsibility of that, and I don't mean like to take the blame. Like they want me to make it my job, like a add on to the job. And anybody that is aware of that concept, that you guys know what I'm talking about. Right? So I'm not taking it because, like I said, I'm just there to make my money and get out, and that's it. Like I said, there's a lot of pretty females, and it could have been a lot of good time, but like I said, I'm not there because I want to be there. I'm there because life or the system makes us have to work a job, and that's it. See, I'm not working because I'm trying to accumulate money for a nest. I'm not working because, I'm not working for a female. I'm not working for any of that. I'm working because, they make it so that we all have to work. If they would make it for me to get money and not have to go to work, then, I wouldn't go to work, See, that's my issue, like, see, this is not stuff that that I talk to them because, those people made issues for me for no reason. Like I said, people tend to like making issues for me for no reason, and I don't know why. The only thing I could think is they just don't like me, or I don't know. It's either that or it's the one that I had mentioned, that they rather have a hate relationship with you than not have a relationship with you at all. And I'm just not down for that one. Like, I'm not down for that relationship like that. So yeah, so like I was saying, a little bit after that incident with the motor, then I was staying overtime because they would make a big deal. So sometimes I would stay overtime, sometimes I wouldn't. So then that day I stayed overtime because they were making a big deal. And it's like 10 or 15 minutes into the overtime, and I'm about to be done, with the overtime to what I was about to be done with whatever excuse they were using for me to stay there. Because sometimes they would tell me to stay there for no reason, and they just didn't want me to leave. Because the thing is that because of the liability reasons, since they're recording, they can't be saying that there's overtime if their employees are leaving. Do you understand what I mean? So if you have employees that are going home on time, and the company is saying that they have overtime because they have so much work, then and that creates a murky area for investigation to be like, oh, well, how is it that you have so much work, but all your employees are going home? And then that's in situations like that, the companies will get involved, because then that makes it too obvious. That makes it too obvious that they're trying to take advantage of that company. So then what happens is that it makes it complicated for them. So then what they have to do is that they have to try to keep everybody there. They can't let anybody go home on time. They can, but they choose not to. See, but that's the thing. It's the manager or the owner or the boss. He's supposed to back up the employees. So he's supposed to be like, oh, that guy does his job, and he works good for us. So once he's done with his work, he gets to go home. And anybody that doesn't want to go home, they get to work overtime. And I don't understand why they don't make it like that. Some places they do. So other than that, it's just personal. And So yeah, like after the motor incident, like maybe like a week or two, I'm working overtime, and then one of the sit downs lift that I was using, the sit down lifts, it catches fire. It catches fire. You know, I'm driving it. I had just taken it off of the machine, and I'm driving it down one of the aisles, and it catches fire. And I seen it right away when it caught fire, because since I've done electrical work like on cars, I already know how to recognize electrical fire. And so yeah, so right away as soon as it caught fire, I got the smell of the burning wire, and I seen the smoke. I seen the smoke come off of the lift, and I'm like, oh, that's not the thing. The forklift caught fire. And so like right away I got down, and I opened the compartment, to let the air go in, to try and make it like, for it not to catch fire, fast enough. So so then I want to go tell one of the managers, there's a fire on the lift, because I'm not gonna use an extinguisher, because the thing about that is that if they didn't see the fire, then they're gonna think that I overreacted and I just started like spraying the lift for whatever. See, that lift, the entire time that I was there, that lift didn't get fixed. The entire time that I was there, towards the last or 2 weeks that that I left, they just had it there. They had it there on standby. And the reason why they did that is because once they seen that the work was getting done too fast, they needed excuses to slow it down. So then what they start doing is they start letting the machines break down. They start letting the machines, get out of tune, so then they could start using that as an excuse, because that's what they were doing. Certain times when there was like low work, what they do is that they put one of the machines out of order, and that way they can have an excuse that because the machine's out of order, and the work has to be done manually, and it slows down production and all that. And then they start using the excuse for overtime. But that's the thing, that once they start using that excuse for overtime, then they try to start to force me to stay there, because I'm supposed to be understanding that that's not under their control. But I'm seeing it that it is under their control, that they're choosing not to do anything about it. And that's the thing that I'm trying to tell you, that after that, then they started like, see, that incident happened, before that catches fire, I gotta do another report, and that's the thing where I started like, okay, so now it feels like they are trying to get me to quit. Okay, so even though that happened, I went back the next day. The next day I go back, and as soon as this is not a joke. Like I said, if any of this gets investigated into, you guys can see it in the videos. You guys can see it in the videos the way it happens, because they have cameras, right? So then the next day I go back, and I start using the lift, and maybe like 30 minutes into the shift, one of the lift, I'm bringing down a pallet from the rack, and one of the hydraulics, the hose from the hydraulics, it busts on the lift as I'm taking down the product. The only thing that I already had it really close to the ground, so you don't need the hydraulics to lower the lifts. The lifts just slide down. The hydraulics is just to hold it. And so then I let the pallet slide down. So then I put it there and I leave it there, because I need to go report it, because when situations like that happen, you need to leave the stuff the way it is when the incident happens, so then they could check it out. So then I go in and I report it to the manager, and they tell me just to leave it there, and because they're trying to look for an excuse to create an issue for the company, so that they could have stop production and make up the hours, right? So even in spite of that, I still didn't quit, and okay. So then another thing that happened after that, then they bring this account, I'm talking like working accounts here. I'm talking like business, right? Like they bring this account, like they bring this company, and the company makes like coffee, like milk, like coffee milk for the coffee or something like that. and I don't remember the name, but the company's name is like oh, the company name. Okay, the company name that I'm talking about. I'm only mentioning this because this is something there, right? The company name that I'm talking about is called Joe Froyo. Okay, JOEFRYO. I think maybe the last part I might have it wrong, but I think that's the one. The company that I'm talking about is called Joe Froyo, right? And it's a new company that started working with them, right? So then they bring these pallets, and right away, I'm moving them back to I'm receiving the pallets to the location, and see, they I'm taking the pallets in. I take one of the pallets. As soon as I set it down, the stupid pallet collapsed. Like it just collapsed on its own weight, and I'm like, fuck, that shit sucks. And like I said, I'm telling you guys that this is a liability scam, right? So then as I'm restacking the pallet, because most of the product just busted out of the pallet, right? Because it's just loose bottles. That's what I'm trying to say. Loose bottles with product. So then the stupid pallet, it's all over the floor, and I'm over there picking up the bottles, and nobody's stopping to help me out. There's a bunch of people in the team, and you might be like, well, maybe it's because you're a dick with them or you're an asshole with them. But it's not the case, because I will help out everybody there, and anybody that sees me working there. But see, I will help out everybody. All right, so everybody sees me there trying to lift that, but nobody stops by to help me out. Like nobody. Like I'm being for real. It's like nobody, not one person, stopped by to help me out to lift that, to put that back up. Right. See, and I understand why, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Right. So then I'm over there, restacking the pallet, and as I'm restacking the pallet, I start seeing that the bottles that they're using, they're like cheap ass bottles. Like literally, like if you would bend it hard enough, it'll probably break, right? So then I'm like, oh, that pallet fell because of the cheap bottle. And they're not packing it right to make up for the packaging, all right? So then I bring another pallet down, and the pallet, the same thing happens to it. And I'm like, okay, so this is too much of a coincidence just to be like, okay, I'm not paying attention, and I'm driving the rider too fast or whatever, Okay, so then I start bringing down the other pallet more slowly, like super slowly, like pretty much if you wouldn't been seeing me there bringing down the pallets, you'd be like, oh, why are you taking the pallet so slow? And I would have had to explain to you all this. So then I do that, and I'm telling you, it's a frustrating situation, because the whole point of the third party thing is to cause frustration. You're the employee, and it's gonna make you think that you're fucking up, but it's not like that. Okay, so there I finally get the I finally get the stupid pallets back in order, and and it was already the end of my shift. Okay, I'm already working like at least 30 minutes overtime, right? So as soon as I got the pallet in, I just left. I went home. I'm not gonna stay there and watch the pallet fall down again, because the material that they're using sucks. All right. So then I go home, and then I go back the next day. That product is there. It looks like it had gotten restacked again, because when I went back, it wasn't the way that I had left it. Right, so that material just stays there for a while, right? So then finally they start moving the material. See, and I started paying attention to it, because right away I took it as, right away I told one of the guys, like, oh, that company is playing that third party scam to the fullest, and they're using cheap material. They're using cheap bottling material to provoke the incidents from happening. Even if you're not you know, under a regular work situation, nobody was going to be able to move those pallets without them collapsing. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Under a regular situation, nobody was going to be able to move those pallets without the pallet, you know, breaking down. And that's what they were doing, and I seen it because right away, as soon as other people started moving the pallets, everybody started having the same issue, you know. Everybody starts having the same issue, and then what happens? It creates frustration, you know, because you have a bunch of employees they're already working on overtime, you know. And if you're over there, you know, you drop the pallet, you know, and everybody's gonna think that it was because of you. But I'm not talking about me, you know. I'm already talking about other people that are dropping the same pallet, you know. So, so then that happens, and then they start, you know, they start like, you know, everybody starts having issues with that stupid pallet because of the material. The company is called Joe Froyo, right? So then, you know, I'm gonna tell you, people think that I'm shy, right? And maybe that's the case. See, I don't think it, right? People think that I'm shy, but I just think that we just have nothing in common, right? And either that or you guys don't know how to talk to me or respond to me. And I don't know if that's the case, but like I said, it doesn't matter because I like being alone, except for the situation that I'm in right now. That's a whole different thing, right? So then, okay, the company, you know, the company comes back, you know, to pick up the product, and you know, I received the product, so they're expecting me to, you know, to ship it out. And so once again, I'm like, okay, I already know what they're doing. You know, they want me to keep being the one to take the liability, the liability for this, right? And so it starts becoming frustrating. It starts becoming frustrating for everybody, not just for me, but for everybody, because, you know, nobody wants to deal with that because they know it. They already know it. So then, you know, the owner of the Joe Froyo company shows up, you know, because he's picking up his product. So I'm over there talking with him, and I start telling him, hey, you know, the material, the pallet, this and that, because right away they put it on me. So right away they made it obvious. Because there's better receivers there that could have handled that situation, you know, faster. I'm saying faster just because they're used to the, you know, to the procedures, but they didn't want to do it like that because they knew that product is not good. They know that that's what it's for. Okay. So then finally they start, you know, I start bringing the product, and then one of the pallets, you know, starts to break down again, and I get frustrated. So I'm like whatever. So I go and I talk to one of the guys that works there in front of the owner, you know, in front of the owner of the company. The company is called Joe Froyo. So I tell him, hey, you know, that those pallets, you know, they keep falling over because the material that they're using for the bottles, it sucks. You know, it's not good. So then I tell him, you know. So then he tells the owner, and so then I start talking to the owner, and I start explaining to him. I'm like, hey, you know, this pallet, you know, the material that you're using, the bottles, you know, they're too cheap. You know, they're too cheap for the product, and the product outweighs the material that's being used. So every single time that one of our employees tries to move this product, it keeps falling because, you know, it's cheap. All right. So then what I did is that I had the owner, like I had the owner restack the pallet. No, I told them, you know, I told him, show me how to restack this pallet so that doesn't happen. And then I see his face reaction, and he got stuck. Like for a second, he got stuck because that's kind of like his own game being thrown back at him. See, because now he's gonna feel the frustration. Now he's gonna feel the frustration of what he's doing to other people, because, you know, that person is not just doing that to me. You know, he's doing it to all the employees. You know, all the employees. Like I said, there's a lot of women working there. You know, there's a lot of women working there, and you know, a lot of them are young ladies. You know, like I'm talking like 20-year-olds. All right, and you know, they're working there, and they're just doing their job. You know, and you know, it's gonna cause frustration for them too. So I started telling the guy, I'm like, hey, you guys are using, the owner. I started talking to him because, like I said, a lot of people think that because I don't talk, that I'm shy. But it's just, there's a lot of times where there's no need for it, And see, other than that, then you're just like those people that are just out there at work, just blurting out nonsense. And that's what I see that a lot of people do, and it makes me like, it makes me like I don't know if that's the way everybody's supposed to be, or there's something that I'm not, grasping, or there's something that I'm being left out of, like that I'm not understanding. But I don't think it's like that. I'm just saying, So yeah, so then I finally got the owner. I got the owner from the Joe Froyo to restack his own palette. So you can see how he likes them apples, how they say. And so yeah, so I got the owner to restack the palette, and then after that, I started talking with him, and he started explaining to me, see, this is the thing, this is where he gave himself out, right? He gave himself out. And I'm gonna show you how in conversation. So then I started talking to him, I started trying to be cool with him. I started talking about his company, kind of like, hey, how's your company, when did you start it, and all that. So then he starts telling me, yeah, like that they knew that they were gonna have issues with that palette. And I'm like, okay, see, by him saying that, he's already telling me that he knew that was gonna happen. So I'm like thinking, all right, So I told him, I'm like, okay, so if you knew that was gonna happen, I'm like, why didn't you report this to the company, to let them know, to be like, oh, handle with care, handle with extreme care, or handle with care, because whatever reason. And then he told me that he had mentioned it to them. So then this is already, like I said, this is already the third party in effect. Okay, I recognize it, right? This is already the third party in effect, because see, it's me, I'm 1. It's him, he's 2. And then the company is 3. It's third party, right? So he told the company, but the company that I was working didn't tell me. See, that's the third party system in effect, right? And this is how they cash in on that, right? So now me talking to him, see, now the company is not part of that conversation. So now the conversation is just between me and him. So then, see, if I wanted to, then this creates issues for the company, because now the company is not involved in that third party system. So now that the company is the one being left out. See, and the system works, can be manipulated within the group. See, but it's not intended to be manipulated in a negative way. It's intended to be manipulated in a way that benefits them, right? And it's not meant to be affect you in a negative way, because you as an employee, you're covered under the insurance, right? You're covered under the company's insurance, right? They don't want you to know this, but you're covered under the company's insurance, right? And so what they do is that they hope that that every time that a liability incident happens, that the person that causes it, or that it happens on them, because sometimes they don't cause it, it just happens to them because of, like I said, right now I'm giving you an example of a situation where they make it so that it happens. So then what they count is that they count on those people just to quit, right? They count on those people just to feel whack and quit. And and then once they quit, if their company hires, once they quit, then they throw them in the agency, and that's the bait and switch, right? So going back to the conversation, so then I'm over there talking to the owner, and I'm over to the owner of the Joe Froyo company, and I'm like, hey, why didn't you mention it? And he's over there telling me that he did, but that this is the first time, supposedly that was the first time that that they were working with another company, but the company doesn't want to deal with that, and I understand why, because the company that made that bottle, the company that made that bottle, made that bottle with the purpose for it to fail. See, they call that a fuse, right? I'm gonna introduce this concept now, right? A fuse is designed to fail, right? It's a fail safe designed to fail, right? A fuse is a component of a car, okay? But it's not just of a car. It could be any electronic stuff. It could have a fuse. A fuse is just something that they make for it to fail, so it doesn't, so that everything else doesn't fail, right? Do you get what I'm trying to explain? So the fuse fails, you replace the fuse, and the whole system keeps going, right? So in the third-party system or in a company, you as an employee, you're a potential fuse, right? In the third-party system, you are the fuse. You get what I mean, right? So once the product gets damaged, and you're the fuse, then most people quit because they start thinking stuff. They start thinking stuff. I'm not gonna be specific to what they start thinking, but they start thinking stuff about the situation. So then most people just quit, right? And that's the way that they made up the third-party system, right? In the third-party system, the employees are the fuse. See, because the employees are hired for them to be the ones that get sacrificed. So if the situation gets out of control, then they just fire the employee, and then they hire someone else, and then that's the fuse being replaced. If the situation gets bad enough where they have to fire you, then they fire you, and if it gets bad enough, then you're still not gonna get the pretty much unemployment. See, so okay, so that situation happened, and eventually, then that situation was done with. They managed to repackage it, even though that incident happened a couple more times with that company, right? But that's part of that, right? So then finally, they started having issues. They started getting frustrated. I'm taking up this spot in a job that they don't have, right? I'm getting max pay. I'm getting max pay. Because I was getting max pay because I had the resume, and they're over there trying to figure out how to get me into the agency. So then what they did is they tried having the guy that works in the agency, trying to the thing that I said earlier, like in tape. I think it was like tape 13 or 14. No, I think it was probably 14 or 15. Anybody that's following this, the conversation that I'm referring to is the one that if you have a routine, then you're vulnerable to anybody paying attention to you because they don't have a routine except for the fact that they're there at that time. But if they don't have a routine, they're paying attention to you at different times. And if you have a routine, they could follow you. They can follow you without following you. See, I'm explaining this for you to understand it. See, so if you have a routine, you can be followed and you can be monitored, and they don't have to follow you all the steps. They just gotta follow you in the section. All right. So all you gotta do is, all right. I'm gonna give you a quick example. All right, to show you that it could be done. All right? So, like for example, you're taking the bus. Right. You're taking the bus, and wherever you live, you're taking. I'm gonna say this one because I'm pretty sure chances are that this one's there where you're at. So anybody that's listening to it. So you're taking the one bus, right? You take the one. Okay. So you wake up, you go to work every day, and you take the one. All right. All it takes is for somebody to, like I said, all it takes is for you to get for you to get someone's eye, and once they start paying attention to you and they become interested, then they can mark you. All right, and so once that happens, so then, all right, then let's say I'm gonna use your neighbors, right? For anybody, this is maybe you guys already know this. If not, maybe some of you do, maybe others don't. Okay. So then that happens, all right? So you get on the one bus, and your neighbors, they see, oh, look at this person got on the one bus. So then all you gotta do is the next time is calculate, oh, okay, he goes to work every time at 6. So all you gotta do is wake up earlier than you, let's say by like at least 30 minutes. And all you gotta do is walk to 1 or 2 bus stops away from you. And that's all it's gonna take. That's all it's gonna take for them to be able to create a murky situation where, if you're not paying attention and you're not thinking it, you're gonna think it's just coincidence that you're just running into them, coincidentally because you guys live in the same neighborhood or in the same, complex or whatever. But it's not necessarily like that. All right. So then once that happens, then all they gotta do is wait on the bus. All you gotta do is wait on the bus to see when you get down. Once you get down, all you gotta do is they could keep going, because they're not trying to make it obvious. So once you get down from the bus, then they just mark the location that you get off of the bus. So then the next time, they instead of them, being obvious, then they go and they take that bus. They go and they take that bus. So then what they do is that they take that bus and then they'll calculate, all right, he works 8 hours. So then all you gotta do is wait for you. All you gotta do is wait for you in that second bus stop and make you think it's just a coincidence because the day before that you had seen that they were on the same bus. So you're gonna be like, oh, look, this person probably just has a common path right now. And it could be coincidence, but it could not. And that's the thing that I'm trying to point out to you. So then once that happens, then, they start creating bonds. They start creating, like I said, this could be done in many ways. They start creating bonds with you because you guys relate to me like, oh, what coincidence, we live there and we met up over here and, but it's not just a whatever thing, it's orchestrated or it's planned or it's set up. And that's the thing that I'm trying to explain to you people, that if you have routines, you're vulnerable to anybody that doesn't. You're vulnerable to people that are just looking to get involved in your life or whatever, and sometimes it could be people that you wouldn't normally get involved, So then over time, then it's easy, it could be done easily, a lot of people make the mistake. A lot of people make the mistake. See, I'm saying the information that I'm saying because it's already done. See? I'm not there no more. I'm not working there no more. But a lot of people, like, in conversation, like, I talk to females, I talk to guys, and, sometimes they'll mention where they work, and sometimes it's a sign they, to, like, go, hit them up or something or whatever. Sometimes it's just conversation. That's the thing, Sometimes it's just conversation, and a lot of people don't understand that. So then, that's why I'm saying that. So when people start thinking that certain stuff happens because it's meant to be, or because it's coincidence or whatever. But sometimes it could be emulated, right? Simulation, simulated theory, right? Simulated coincidences, which is not real, and all that is part of all that. So. Like I said, now going back to the conversation. So then I was talking about, it has to do with it just because it has to do with work. All right. So then after that thing that I said, then said that company, once they seen that, once the owner seen I was gonna throw the work back at him, for him to restack the pallet, he didn't want to deal with me no more. He wanted somebody else. So then that's what happens, So then, like I said, finally towards the end of the holidays, they were already looking for people to lay off. They had told me. Some people had told me already. Either that or since it's the end of the holidays, they have a good excuse to lay you off. Because they could say that production slowed down or whatever, So then, people were already telling, agency people were already telling me, and company people were already telling me that, yeah, that time is when people start getting laid off and this and that. So then, a lot of talk started happening, letting everybody know that, yeah, if that happens, don't worry, because the first people that go are the agency people. They're the ones that get fired. See, but the thing is that agency people don't get fired, they just get moved to another location. That's the thing, all right? That's the thing that you have to understand. Just because the agency people don't show up there no more, it doesn't mean they got fired. It just means that they rerouted them to another location temporarily for whatever reason. It could be for them to make you think that people are getting fired, or it could be just a coincidence. Like I said, I'm not trying. This is not paranoia talk. It's just talk of stuff that happened to me. And so yeah, then they started telling me, yeah, people are gonna start getting fired. Supposedly they let go of this one guy that was working in an agency, and I already knew what they were gonna do. They were gonna put me in a situation where they already seen that I was trying to avoid talking to the females. All right, they seen that I was trying to avoid talking to the females, and in their mind they're thinking it's because I'm shy. Yeah, whatever, right? Excuse me, but they're not understanding. Okay, I'm not just talking to them because there's no need to talk to them. Sometimes there's no need to talk to people, and the thing that happens is, like I said, I'm not gonna befriend people that I befriend. Like if I befriend you, I'm not gonna befriend your friends if I don't like them, right? And that's gonna cause issues between us, all right? See, if your friends, are your friends, I'm not gonna make you let go of your friends, right? I'm just not gonna be your friend, and as simple as that. And that becomes an issue, and that's not usually what happens, because to me that's kind of like, to me people don't see it like that, but to me that's a trick. That's a trick for somebody to get involved in your life that normally you wouldn't let them get involved in your life. And the only reason why people let them get involved with their life is because there's other people that are kicking it with them that are kicking it with them, and that's it. And that's that's the situation that I was trying to explain earlier about, kind of like my son and why I can't kick it with him no more, because other than that, then I gotta kind of like be around people that I don't want to be around. And that's just kind of like it's kind of like counterproductive, and kind of like why do you want to put yourself in a situation like that? And I know people are thinking, it's for your son and this and that, but it's like that's not an ideal situation anyways. So that's the thing that I'm trying to explain to you guys, that so all that has to do with everything. That's all that has to do with work. I'm talking about work, But I'm using other examples to help you understand what I'm trying to explain about that. And see, a lot of people do that. A lot of people, either they don't understand any of this, or they haven't ever thought about it like that, or either they don't care or whatever. But yeah, that's what happens. Just because let's say work. Just because you work with people doesn't mean you have to be their friends. You don't have to be a dick and an asshole with them. But it doesn't mean that you have to befriend them. You could talk to whatever the work has to be done, and then that's it. And that's usually what I do. If the work requires me to talk with you, I'll talk with you. But once that's done, then I'm not gonna talk with you. And if I like you, I might have a conversation with you. And if I think you're cool, I might have a conversation with you. But if you don't react the right way, then you're gonna kill it, and that's not gonna happen. And that's what happens. That's what happens to me a lot with people. People come and try to talk to me. I don't know if they try to talk to me the way they look or the way they see me, or they try to talk to me the way that they feel like they need to talk to me to intimidate me, because they want to assert dominance. And that's stupid, because I'm not even trying to I'm not even trying to anything. I don't know if people know this, but for males, you're not supposed to, there's no need for hatred if you're not going after the same female. See, and I don't think people understand this. And this is the kind of stuff that I was telling, in the messages that I was talking to Dominic's 2122, I was saying that there's no competition there for him. So like I said, I'm letting them know. I had told him earlier on, I was just trying to explain to him the situation, and thinking that maybe he could be reasonable and participate in kind of like what we had in mind, and he chose to try and make me an enemy, right? Because that was his intention, because of what the stuff that I'm talking about, the stuff that I mentioned. And even so, I still tried, like I said, anybody that listens to it, I still try to like contact with him and socialize with him, because if it was something that's gonna be something, this is what I was trying to explain to Bertha. If it's something that's gonna be something more serious, it's like I keep trying to tell her, like, I don't know if she didn't understand it, or if she got stupid, or if she was doing something else, that whatever, if it's something else, then whatever. Like I said, no matter what, because of the lies, it causes issues that are not necessary. That's the thing that I'm trying to explain. That's the thing that I'm trying to explain, part of it. The reason why I'm jumping to that is because that's the same concept that I'm trying to explain to you guys that happens to me at work. That because of people's BS, they create these situations that out of the lies, it creates issues with people, and sometimes it's because they don't think that that person's gonna react a certain way and whatever, because they think that it's all mind power, and it's not. See, that's when you hear people, I'm talking to all you mind people, that's when you hear people saying, that's when you hear people saying that they didn't ever think that would happen to them, because that's the world letting you know that. That's the world letting you know. That's the world telling you. That's the world telling you that. I'm not gonna specify to what, but that's the world telling you. So yeah, then so then what they started doing, they started throwing me to work. And the place that I work is a refrigerator warehouse. So they have a freezer section, like a freezer warehouse, like a freezer room. And I'm talking like a big freezer room. I'm not talking about like a refrigerator, like you're thinking like in a restaurant. You know how they have those big refrigerators, those stainless steel refrigerators. I'm not talking like that. I'm talking like a refrigerator the size of a warehouse, and they have racks in there. They have a forklift running in there too, and the pallet jacks, and they have people moving the product in and out from the forklifts. We gotta wear like extra like suits. If you ever work in any of those places, you'll see that people like right there, they're dressed up kind of like astronauts. They gotta wear thermal suits. They gotta wear the head covers and all that. The gloves. The boots. Insulation. The only thing they miss is a helmet. The helmet. That's the only thing they're missing. If they would add the helmet, then that's what it would look like. That's what I mean. Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid? Metal Gear Solid 1. The way that the enemies, the way that they're dressed. Just imagine that, right? The first level of Metal Gear Solid. How when Snake, he's coming out of the water and he's going into the I don't know if it's a ship or a warehouse, but he's going into the facility, and you see the soldiers walking around in white, wearing their their insulation mask and all that. That's what it looks like working in a refrigerator environment warehouse. There's like a bunch of Nazis working. That's what it looks like. No joke. It looks like a bunch of Nazis working in a freezer environment. And so yeah, so then after that issue, what they did is that they started looking for any excuse. As it is, they would do it since earlier on. they would look for any excuse to throw me into like refrigeration work. And sometimes they have no work. They just, I'm gonna say this, but it's not true. I mean, anybody that works in that environment, don't fall for that, right? Anybody that's ever worked in refrigeration with the freezer, they'll tell you. This is what they'll tell you, okay? So pay attention. So that if you work in a situation like that, you know what's up. So anybody that ever works in a refrigerator, freezer location, they're gonna tell you. See, unless you work in a freezer, like in a pure freezer section, it might be different, all right? But anybody that works in a refrigerated / freezer, warehouse, they have cameras in the warehouses, in the refrigerators, okay? So what they do is that they take you to the freezer and they give you a tour. And any place that you work, right? They'll take you to the freezer and they give you a tour of the freezer. And they'll let you know that everywhere else they have cameras, except in the freezer. And they'll tell you that because of the fog or whatever, that it covers the lens, or that, the technology can't handle that, or whatever. And I'm telling you that that's not true, right? I'm letting you know that they have cameras in there too, right? The refrigerator section has cameras there too, all right? Okay? So I'm just letting you know. If anything, the cameras that they have there are different. If anything, the cameras that they have there are thermal cameras, right? So that's how I'm gonna convince you, to let you know that they do have cameras in there. All right. So what they do is that they make you think that there's no cameras there, so you could think that that's a safe zone, and so they could pay attention to you, like kind of like you're thinking you're gonna get away with something right there. So I'm letting you know. To anybody listening to this, you're gonna get into that environment, I'm letting you know that it's not. But at the same time, if it's true, it's not worth the situation. All right. So so then they start throwing me in freezer work. I've been working in refrigerated for a long time, right? Like like I'm Jack Frost, man. Like, I'm being serious. Like, I'm Jack Frost, and I've been working in refrigerators for a long time, inside the refrigerator system for a long time. So they keep throwing me into the refrigerator, into the freezer, trying to think that I'm gonna quit because I don't know the rules. But I know the rules. Like I said, I play by the rules because there's something that happens when you play by the rules. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. All right. So I play by the rules. So then I'm throwing this out there for anybody that hasn't ever worked in refrigerated. If you're gonna get into it, I'm letting you know, because this is what they're not telling you, right? Anybody that works in refrigerated, this is anybody that wants to look into it. You can look into it scientifically, right? The human body can only be inside a refrigerated situation, or in a freezer situation, for a certain amount of time before it starts hitting. I don't know. I'm not familiar right here too much with the proper terminology, because I know it's similar, but it has to do with difference. There's a difference, right? The human body can only be inside a freezer conditions for a certain amount of time before it hits hypothermia. I think it's hypothermia, and if not, it's the other one, but I can't recall the name right now, right? So pretty much, after a certain amount of time, if you're inside a freezer situation, like if you're stuck in the snow, your body's gonna react to it. Your body is gonna react to it. Your body's gonna start telling you. Your body's gonna go into a panic mode. Like, I'm telling you for reals. And so in a situation like that, your body's gonna start going into a panic mode, because in the process of it going into a panic mode, it's gonna cause you to start moving around. In the process of you starting moving around, you're gonna start creating body heat. And that's your body's attempt at trying to counteract the temperature. But if the temperature is too cold, even that is not gonna help. Okay, even that's not gonna help, because if you have ever frozen anything, you know that once it hits a certain degree, it's hard to bring it back down. it's within the if it's within the storage, all right? So if you're in the if you're in the freezer for too long, like for too long, you know, you're risking your own life. Okay, I'm telling you, you're risking your own life. And they're supposed to tell you that, right? They're supposed to tell you that when you get hired. They're supposed to tell you the regulations. See, when I got hired, nobody told me the regulations. See, nobody. And there was conversation, you know. I'm gonna mention the name because that guy was a fucking dick with me, and just because he was just a fucking dick because he just wanted to, right? Because that's the guy that I said when I went to go apply there, he was making it so I wouldn't go back. You know, he was trying to get, you know, he was trying to hit me up, like kind of like put pressure on me to like kind of like just, you know, to get out. And it's the truth, you know. That guy's name, his name is Jose, and he's a team lead. He's a team lead right there in True Fresh HPP, but he's a fucking dick, you know. And I'm telling you, he's a fucking dick or an asshole. I don't know which one he prefers, right? Because I'm guessing all you guys that are dicks and assholes is because you prefer to be one or the other, right? And this applies to the females, and I guess that too. But I really don't think I'm gonna choose to be like a little bit more, you know, because I've only been dealing with, you know, males for work stuff as much as possible, because, you know, it's a different situation, all right? So I'm not trying to bring you guys down with this. So I'm just saying I don't think it applies, okay? But maybe I'm wrong. But like I said, that guy, his name was Jose. He works there. That guy's just a fucking dick. Like, I'm saying it straight up. So he's a dick or an asshole. I don't know which one he prefers to be. Right? So that guy he didn't like me. That guy just didn't like me. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. Right? Because he tried to make it really complicated for me to do anything right there. And I'm saying this because towards the end that I was there, you know, I was working, you know, with the other guy that I'm telling you, you know, Gustavo, you know, that guy was cool. See, I got that he didn't like me either, but like, he was a cool guy, you know, he was always cool with me. You know, I'm not gonna say that he didn't joke around with me sometimes, like kind of heavy, but that's already, I'm already used to that, right? I don't joke around with people like that unless, like, you know, it's different. I'm not gonna tell you why, but it's different. Right, so like, you know, the guy Gustavo, you know, he's a lead there too, and you know, like I had no issues. I had no issues that are that like that. You know, there's this incident, but I'm not gonna talk about it because, like I said, the guy was cool with me for the most part. So the incident is not really anything, right? Like, because it really wasn't anything. It was more just like a comment that was made, but like I said, like the guy was cool with me. It's like whatever. But the other guy, he wasn't, like, you know. So towards the end of the time I was working there, they seen that I started like they seen that I was really cool with the other guy, you know, the Gustavo guy. Like I said, I got the hint that he didn't like me, but you know, I would try to be cool with him because I thought he was cool. And so after that, they moved me. Like I said, they kept changing my shift because they wanted me to pretty much to get frustrated and quit. So then they moved me back to the morning. You know, one day I'm going in in the morning, and they switch me to the night. So then I'm working that night, and then they switch me back to the morning. Right, from one day to the other. Like, it's not a joke. Like, there might have been like a week or two difference, right? But that's not a joke. Like, that's what they did, you know. So then they moved me back to the morning, and you know, they moved me the very next day, thinking that I wasn't gonna show up because, you know, I had just came off of my shift. You know, I had to explain to you guys that I was coming out, like I was getting home to like 10. You know, I was getting home to like 10 or 9. So then I go home, and then I'm like, fuck, I gotta go back to work the next day. So then, you know, that day I didn't sleep anything. You know, I didn't get to sleep anything because I'm like, damn, if I go to sleep right now, I'm not gonna wake up on time because, you know, once you hit that REM sleep, then, you know, if you're tired, it's gonna be really hard to wake you up. And that's what happens to people sometimes. That, you know. But I still went because, you know, I'm used to sometimes not sleeping because, you know, I have a hard time sleeping sometimes. So there's times where I really don't sleep. There's times that I go days without sleep. You know, there's times I'll be like 3 days. Like, it's not a joke. There'll be those times that I go like 2 or 3 days, you know, without sleeping, and that's for anybody that see me. See, all the videos on Warhawk that I have for the Play-Doh account, that's just half of it. Half, or like just a certain amount of percentage, because most of them I have them private right now. Right? But anybody that was following me earlier on, they would have seen, you know, I have over 1,000 videos for the Play-Doh account. You know, and most of them are just Warhawk, right? So that's why you guys will always see me playing, because, you know, most of the time I couldn't go to sleep, so I was just playing, and that's what happens. You know, there's times where I go 2 or 3 days and I can't sleep, and, you know, that's kind of like what happens. Like yesterday I was awake for like 2 days. You know, I was awake for 2 days, and I finally got to sleep, and, you know, so yeah, you know, so because of that, you know, I was able to go back, you know, pretty much I was keeping my job, I was doing everything good, and like I said, starting in January, you know, every paycheck after March was gonna be pure profit, like I mean, 100% profit. See, so you can do the math, you know. And I think they had an issue with that, you know, once they seen that I could do the work good, because like I said, you know, I work for other companies, you know. The Whole Foods warehouse is way bigger, you know. The Whole Foods warehouse is way bigger than that warehouse, you know. That warehouse was nothing, you know. That whole warehouse, if anything, was like one refrigerator from the Whole Foods warehouse, and I don't think they seem to understand that. You know, I was working with many more people that were there, you know, and the stress is different. You know, the stress is more demanding, and it's more, but because it's actual work, you know, it's not bullshit stress, you know. It's stress from real work, you know, that, you know, once you get into the rhythm, you know, anybody that has done this, anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you guys know it has a runner's high, you know. But once you get into the rhythm, then that's all I gotta say to you. And you know, it's a different situation for a situation where it's just stress with no cause, right? And that's what they try to do in third-party systems, you know, in third-party companies that you're working, you know, that's what they're doing to you. See? So yeah, like that's part of my story, you know. Like I said, you know, if people investigate into that, they're gonna see that there's a lot of like kind of like murky issues with, you know, people that deal with me. Like I don't know what's I don't know what's up with them. Like so yeah, it's like that's the place I was working in, and like I should have been good, you know, but because of the way that they did things, you know, after that they started like being stupid, you know. That manager, his name's Jose, you know, Jose the asshole, or Jose, you know, I'll let you know, you're just a dick, and you just didn't like me, right? And I saw right through you. I'm just telling you, you know, if you come across this channel, you know, I'm just letting you know. Right? And the other person his name's Jim. He's a warehouse lead. Like that guy's a dick too, you know. Yeah. He's a dick, and I think he's a racist, to be honest with you. I just think he's a fucking racist, because that guy's so fucking he's I honestly think the guy's racist, because like He looked like he was Irish, right? Because he had orange hair, and he had the Irish look, right? And he's a team lead. I would talk to him proper, and he's always trying to be stupid with me. He's always trying to be stupid with me, trying to hit me up, trying to hit me up gangster. And I don't play that game at work. I don't play that game at work. And I would just ignore him. So, obviously, it's gonna offend him to be ignored like that. And the thing is that, he made a mistake, and I'm gonna bring you into this, and I'm sorry if this causes issues for you, but Jennifer, you were there. You were there, and one of the other girls was there. I don't know if it was one of the new girls. I don't remember your name because I really didn't meet you. And I'm not saying you weren't ugly. You just weren't my type at all. So, there's no chance that I'm gonna talk to you at all. Like, I know you tried to talk to me a couple of times, just basic stuff. But if I'm not interested in you at all, there's no chance. Like, I mean it. Like, there's people that are not ugly, but they're just not my type. So there's no chance there. See, you're not gonna get a chance on that, and that's why I understand sometimes if people don't come up to me. It makes sense because I'm just not their type or whatever. So, like I said, that's why I respect the game. Oh, the other girl. I just remember your name. Your name was Adriana. I really didn't meet you, but since I'm bringing you up, it's a shout out saying hi to you. And I really didn't have any issues with you, but you're not an ugly lady. But you were not my type. And so if I made you feel like kind of like whack or offended or anything because I didn't talk to you, don't take it personal. It's just the way that I am. I really don't talk to anybody that I don't have to. And the incident that I'm talking about is like, all right, I'm a receiver. I was a receiver right there, because everybody's a receiver right there. They try to. Everybody's a receiver there because we all do the same job. When you're a receiver, you're authorized to do everything. You're authorized to do the job from the beginning to the end. You're authorized to receive it, to ship it out, from selecting it to packing it to everything. And that's the thing. See, so that's why everybody's a receiver there. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to single me out to thinking that I was the only receiver or the shipper, because they wanted to put all the liability on me. Since all the other people were already working there for a long time, they seen that I wasn't gonna quit because of everything. So they were trying to force me to be the kind of like the receiver or the shipper permanently. And like I said, I don't go for titles. When I go for work, I don't go for titles, because fuck your titles. To any company that's not gonna hire me because of this, then you're just being petty. Like, I mean, if you guys could, to any company that wants to throw the title, you guys could shove that title up your ass for all I care, because your titles don't mean shit to me. And that's the thing, that's the reason. This is the reason that why you guys, anybody listening to this recording, you're gonna understand why I struggle a lot in life. All right? Okay. Because even though it sounds like I'm being like the way that I'm talking, I'm not bothered. I'm just talking to overall. Overall, I'm talking to the management in that company, because I understood the third party system, and they could have benefited off of me. They could have benefited off of me a lot, and I have a solution for that. That's the stupid system. I have a solution for why they get stuck. And I wasn't gonna give it to them just like that. I was gonna give it. I want recognition for it. So they were trying to get me to set up their warehouse, but they didn't want to give me credit for it. They just wanted me to set it up and organize it and pretty much give it to them. But they didn't want to give me credit. So it's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that because they're over there making my job hard for no reason. Because the job wasn't hard, the job was easy. Like I said, it was easy. See, not to be lying to you, but I could have done that most of the time that I was working there. I could have done the job, by myself. At least the shipping part, the other part, you need people there to load the machines, but not as many as they have. If anything, you need like 6 people, one in the beginning and one in the end, and any overtime that accumulates, and that's your, that's all I'm gonna say. So you're smart enough and you understand what I'm talking about, right? So that's what they would do, I don't care for titles, I don't care for fake titles, I don't care for none of it, all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to be me, keep to myself as much as possible. And if I could meet some cool people, like I said, I prefer to meet women. I prefer to meet women because, but I'm not trying to date you, and that's the issue. See, that's the issue that I have. I'm not trying to date. See, that's the issue that I have. I'm 33, I'm about to become homeless, and, I have no interest in procreating with females right now. And, how do you deal with that? That's the thing I'm trying to say. How do you deal with that situation, See, and all that, it's like, kind of like the way that I am, and that's, so yeah, like I said, I'm right here right now, staying right here still, and I'm enjoying this to the fullest, as much as I can, which is at least right now I'm just enjoying the privacy that, that pretty much I'm alone right now, and I'm just kicking back. I'm not kicking back the way that I wanted to, but it's probably better than the way I'm gonna be kicking back pretty soon, or not kicking back. But yeah, so what they started doing, finally, I guess they got tired. They got tired, or I think that guy Jose, I think he was just a hater. I think he was just a hater, man. Like, I don't know, like. So finally, he started creating bullshit. He started creating bullshit reasons. He started creating lies. He started creating third-party lies, thinking that I wasn't gonna try to follow the lie. And I started following. I know how the third-party system works. I know how it works in the company. And I know how to track it. I know how to track it down. I know how to track you down. I know how to find you. I know how to find the origin of the issue, and that's why I do inventory. And that's why I was working in the company that I was working for as long as I was working, because like I said, I was working at Whole Foods, and the guy Caesar, he was cool with me. I think we were cool. At least at the time that I was working there, I consider him a friend. And I don't keep in touch with him no more because we're grown-ups. Grown-ups really don't. Grown-up males shouldn't really be keeping in contact with each other like that, because there really isn't any need for it. Unless you're gay or homosexual, lesbian or female. I'm not got nothing against you. Whatever. See, I'm not homophobic. I'm just saying that. So yeah, then that's part of the issue right there. See, that guy Caesar, we were cool. We were cool. I consider him a friend. He showed me how to troubleshoot the inventory. And he showed me a lot of cool stuff. He showed me a lot of like work stuff, and he showed me a lot of like life stuff. Not the stuff that I'm talking about, but like kind of like the way, kind of. I don't want to talk about the stuff the way that. I don't want to talk about the stuff that the situation, because it might not be appropriate to talk about it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, like I said, I'm not trying to cause trouble for people, especially not for him, because he was cool with me, and this is just a shout out for Caesar. I don't want to say your last name, but hopefully you know who I'm talking about, right? And you're a cool guy, man, and you're probably still a cool guy. Okay, and that's all I gotta say about that. So yeah, that guy showed me how to troubleshoot he showed me how to troubleshoot the inventory to the max, and and over there, those people are over there trying to think, and I was just laughing at them. Like in my mind, I was just laughing at all of them because originally that company had contacted me for inventory, and that's the only reason why I took the job, because that job is fucking far. Even in car, it's like if anything, like 40 minutes. It's far. Like it's not close, but it's not like. But just think about it. You don't want to go to work, and you gotta go work somewhere far. It's like, I don't know. Like, so yeah, it was just funny. All the time that I was working there, they're trying to give me a hard time, and I think honestly they just gave themselves a hard time, because a lot of the time what they would do, I don't know any guys that are listening to this, I really think that the majority of my Facebook people that I befriend women. I'm going after women to befriend women too. Like I said, I'm looking for a new partner. So my aim on Facebook is to socialize with women, but I see that a lot of women don't take. A lot of women, the Facebook thing is, they're just using it for cheating. So a lot of people use alternate accounts, and I know that game. So, like I said, because I guess a lot of people that's the way they use it, then that's why I'm not getting any results out of that, or maybe I'm not talking about the right stuff, or maybe, whatever, maybe nobody's interested or anything like that. But like I said, yeah, everybody on my Facebook, I befriend women. I'm not befriending guys, because I'm interested in trying to start a new family. I'm interested in trying to, it's gonna take me a while, so that's why I'm interested in looking for, trying to get through the process fast, because I know it's gonna take me a while to meet somebody that that I can kick it with, and that's the thing, That's the thing, I'm getting sidetracked right now. That's the issue that I was having with my ex-wife, She knows this about me, because I would talk with her, and the thing that she was trying to do, I'm gonna tell you what she was trying to do. She was trying to start a relationship, and she was trying to have me there as a backup in case that relationship failed, right? And I told her that that's not the way it works. I told her, that that's what she wants to do. Then she needs to go all in. She needs to go for it. She can't. I don't like, even if the guy is an asshole, the Dominic's 2122. If you're an asshole, that's on you. Whatever life situation you've been through that caused you to be like that, I don't want to know, and I don't want to understand you, right? But even if you're an asshole, people don't deserve to be treated like that. And even if you did play her and she played you back, then I guess you guys got what you deserve. I don't know if you did or not, but I'm not saying it like that, But what Berta was trying to do is that she was trying to get me to be okay with her, like, kind of like dating and stuff. And at the same time, she wanted me to get back to work so that she could be kicking back and just kicking back. Kicking back while still playing with people. And I told her so many times that that's not a fair deal, The entire time that I was kicking back, I was letting her do her thing, if she fucked as many people as she did, because that's the way she did it, and I wasn't aware of it, because like I said, I would stay out of her business, so she would stay out of mine. And the entire time that I was kicking it, I was just kicking it, I was just kicking it, playing Warhawk. And to anybody listening to this, if you guys understand the concept, then that's a fair deal, That's a fair deal, I'm kicking back, at the same time I'm babysitting my son. because like I said, it's babysitting, you know, and I'm educating him, or I was educating him and babysitting him, and at the same time I'm bonding with him, and you know, she wanted me to be cool with her, to keep fucking around. Pretty much, she wanted me to be cool with her, to be fucking around with everybody she met at work, and stay home. And for me to go and play the game that she wants, that she was playing. And I had told her so many times, you know, I'm not interested in that game, you know. I had told her so many times, and that's the issue that we had, you know, for all this time. All the time that we've been together. Like I say, I know she's a cheater, but she'd never give herself out. Like I said, other than that, then I would have to be going out of my way to pretty much to catch her or whatever. And I honestly didn't want to. Not because I didn't care, it's just that that's not what a relationship is about. That's all I'm saying, right? And pretty much I didn't like I said, as long as she didn't make it obvious to me, then there's no need for any action. And by action I mean a reaction, you know. And pretty much that's what happened, you know. I think what happened is that, you know, she found her cluster of guys that she could play. So now what she needed to do was she needed to remove herself from the equation of her routine. So now they can't track her. You know, you guys, anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you're gonna understand, right? So now what she was trying to do, she was trying to remove herself from the routine, kind of like to hide away, but because now she doesn't need to be out there, because now, you know, pretty much all the people that she met, you know, she's gonna start throwing them into the game and socializing through them. And I'm pretty sure that's what she did, you know. I'm pretty sure that's what she started doing, you know. I'm pretty sure once she seen Cal was playing that game, I'm pretty sure she started telling people to go into that game and play. And eventually she was gonna meet up with them right there. And, you know, I already anticipated all that. So I told her that no, that's not a fair deal. That's not a fair deal for me, and that's not a fair deal for anybody. Because she's lying. And she got upset, you know. She got upset because she didn't get her way. You know, and maybe anybody that understands Spanish, you know, she didn't get her way, you know. She thought I was gonna be her way, and, you know, it didn't happen like that. And so yeah, that's what happened right there. So I'm only saying this because the Dominic's 2122. He was over there trying to be like he's cool and whatever. Like I said, to throw shade at me. And I was just laughing at him. Thinking that he's stupid. Thinking that he's stupid, that he thinks that's... I was just laughing at him. And I'm pretty sure he's not stupid. Like, I don't mean it like that. I'm pretty sure he's not stupid. Like I said, I know the way you think. So, I know you're not stupid. See? But anybody that knows, you know, everybody that knows the game, you know what I'm talking about. And you know what's the one thing that kills any player's game? So I'm just talking about that because I'm trying to explain the situation to you guys, to everybody. And that's what happened, right? And I know it seems like I jumped off topic, but I'm not, because like I said, all of this is connected. You know, it all connects some way or another. You know, I'm just trying to like kind of categorize it, the conversations, in a certain order, so they can be used different. And you know, like I said, I kind of tell you how to use the recordings to piece the information back to. So yeah, that's the situation that occurred right there. You know. pretty much, since she knows that I like playing by the rules, what she was trying to do, she was trying to get me back to work and maintain her, while she was kicking back, still kicking back with everybody that she met at work, and just kicking back. Like, see, that's a whole different thing, that's not that's not like, come on, like I said, I already know the way she was, I already knew the way she is, so so yeah, everything about this, because the only reason why I'm doing this is because of the YouTube stuff, because everybody tried to make it seem like I was being mad because of the ex-wife stuff or whatever, because that's what they wanted to make it seem like it's about. But it's just about them trying to block me. People always try to block me. I don't know why. Is it, what are you guys scared of? What are you guys scared of? What are you guys scared of that's gonna happen if you guys let me succeed? What is it that you guys fear? Because that's the way I see it. I see it that you guys fear me. You guys fear something about me, because you guys are always going out of your way to try to block me. So I want to know, what is it that you guys fear of me being successful? What is your fear of you allowing me to be successful in life? I'm asking you, and I'm asking everybody that has ever stand in my way. What is your problem with that? See. Okay, so finally, like at work, I'm going back to the work stuff. Like I say, I'm a nice guy. I try to play by the rules. I try to be cool. If I don't talk with you, it's not making I'm messed up or anything. It's just, like I said, I like to keep to myself. And to get into this conversation, because I already seen that this conversation is too long, I'm gonna break down the recording to another recording, because I already seen that this one it's almost gonna be 3 hours. So I'm gonna try to see if I edit this down, not edit it down, but like edit it into sections. So if anybody that follows this, so you don't lose track if you guys want to follow that. So that's a long time.